What's going on, everybody? Back in F1 23. Today we have the Austrian Grand Prix. So in the last one out in Canada, we had a insane race, finishing P3, and hopefully gonna carry that momentum. Hopefully a spot higher heading into Austria. But an insane race, a fun race. Go check that one out. That one was a lot of chaos, but a lot of fun. So looking forward to another one here in Austria. Keep that momentum. Stay P3, hopefully in the standings before the end of it. But we're going to look at everything here. Looks like all the wear is okay. We have this pending. After this race, I might go ahead and switch out a few different deals. But R&D department, we got some stuff coming in, a lot of minor upgrades, pretty much minor on everything, so not too bad on that. We don't have any upgrades at the moment. Did upgrade the fabrication, that'll come in 3rd of July, so no the maximum upgrades that we could do on the chassis department is that. One thing I was going to upgrade or change was in the settings and the difficulty. I moved it to 110. The max difficulty, up it all the way. So no matter what, the races, the pace, everything like that, we will be on the maxed out difficulty. Can't get any faster on the AI. So hopefully, I'm thankful that, I've been running it at 105 and 107. So that's been the difficulty, and we've been ending up 3rd. So that being said, going to try to do the best I can with where it is. But all in all, it's been all right where we have been finishing 3rd and stuff. So I'm going to up it. The car's pace definitely isn't a 3rd place car. I think that I am better than what the car shows for now. But yeah, finishing 3rd. Don't think that we should be finishing 3rd in the races overall. So that being said, we'll see what we're able to do here in Austria. We have the time attack or autocross. I think I'm going to go ahead and do the time attack and in the Ferrari F8. So I will see you guys in it, and let's go drive the supercars. It's raining, so that being said, we're gonna have to be a little bit careful, but just gonna do 2 laps around here. Hopefully it's not too difficult, but let me jump into this and try to see what we can do. Hopefully get the gold, but filling it all out. If anybody's watched any of my streams, I've driven a few laps around here in the F1 time trial, but other than that, really haven't done too much around this racetrack, especially first time in the wet is going to be in a supercar, so it's a lot different from F1 car in the dry. But up the hill, a little slideways, not too bad though. First sector complete. Lap number 1 complete. On to lap number 2. Hopefully we're still able to do it in time. The interior, I do like. It's fun driving in the interior view. I don't like it as much in the F1 car, that being it too with it being so I like being able to see the tires, see how close I can get to the curbs and see all that. But this, I'm still having a lot of fun driving and things like that. So definitely still cool to drive in the interior view every once in a while, get more immersed in it. Starting to get close on the time. Hoping that we have enough. I feel like it's been a pretty okay lap. As I say that, I go off the racetrack. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. No, we just missed it. Are you kidding me? We missed it just barely. So we miss it by less than 2 seconds. Unfortunately, only 50,000 instead of 100. But, oh, just a little too slow in the rain. Alrighty, post the supercar. Alrighty, post supercar session. Did alright in it. See, we got the silver, so not the gold, but heading into race weekend and practice at the Red Bull Ring. Alrighty, as you can see here, practice 1, qualifying, and sprint race. The first sprint race of the season is going to be here at Austria. Alrighty, in the workstation here in Austria, practice, qualifying, and sprint race this weekend. So sprint, 8 laps. That's going to be a fun one. But excited to see what we can do and where we're going to be set here heading into qualifying or after qualifying for the sprint race. I'm excited for the sprint race. Yeah, I believe this is the second one of the season. So excited for that. Let's just jump right into qualifying and see where we end up. Alrighty, loaded in for qualifying here. No chance of rain. I'm going to go ahead and load the setup. And we're going to head out onto the racetrack. So here we are on our first laps in Austria. Looking for something big here. Looking for a good qualifying lap. A good first banker lap. Let's see what we can do. Good lap there for us. Let's see what it's going to be. It's going to be P2 on the board and 3/10 off of Leclerc. Not too shabby on that lap. Let's go ahead, let our teammate go by, and let's pit for some tires and to change as we get run into by our teammate. What the hell? Okay, run on the back of by our teammate. Not sure what he was doing. He's not going to have a good day. All right, so we get outbeat by Verstappen by a 10th here, but Charles put down a heater there. That is interesting. Ferrari has the pace this season, and I'm pretty interested in that. I'm not going to lie. Let's go ahead. I'm going to advance and then do one last run, maybe up the wings just a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and do one last run. Let me do this real quick. 32, 32, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to leave it at. That's it. Not going to do much more. I'm going to go ahead and stop the time right now, under 3 minutes. We're going to go out for qualifying in the pack and see if we can get any better lap time than a 1:04.2.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Perez,
Hamilton,
and Charles Leclerc. Goodbye for now then, but we are really just getting started. Make sure you join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
So at the end of qualifying, we end up P7. That's going to set us up good for the sprint race. Our best qualifying result of the season is the qualifying session after we up the difficulty. So interesting there, as our teammates far down the leaderboard, not even inside the top 20. Wow. So I think we're seeing the real car's pace by what he has on it. I think it may just be the setups I'm using. So contemplating not using setups, but no, I think we're doing all right now. We're still not on the pace to win any races or anything like that. But after qualifying, only 4/10 off, we're ahead of our rival in Alonso. So not too bad. Let's go ahead and look at the sprint race, or heading into it. Let's see what we can do. All right, so looking at the forecast before we're headed in, it looks like there might be a 18% chance of rain at the start here. So that's going to be interesting if we're looking at that. R&D wise, we have 12,000 or 1,200 on the R&D. Was kind of looking at something for, the chassis here. Not able to do it because the chassis department, but waiting for the tire blankets to come in. Recommended upgrade would be the cable assembly. So that would be something. DRS slot, that's something. A lot of different things that we can do. I'm trying to do some upgrades before Belgium, because that would be a big help for us. Belgium being a pretty good track. I mean, look at the engine. Everybody except for us, pretty much, other than, wow, Red Bull's that far down. Okay, we have the best motor by far, which I think is why our straightaway speed is so good, because I kept doing drag reduction. So I think that's why our straightaway speed is insane, because supplier upgrades, I just kept doing more power. That's funny. I could do more. I can make it even bigger. So we have 34. I'm gonna wait and do this one. So what I'm looking at right now is cable assembly and rear downforce might become useful, or DRS. I'm going to do intercooler as well as cable assembly. So I'm going to go ahead and do those, not right now, as we're not allowed to, but I will at the end of next episode after practice and all the R&D points come in. So I'm going to jump into the sprint race, and let's get ready for the second sprint race of the season.
Forget pit stops, forget fuel management. It's pedal to the metal all the way here as we get ready for today's sprint. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. Sergio Perez will lead us away from pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Sainz, Verstappen, Russell, Maverick, Stroll, Bottas, Albon, Oscar Piastri, Norris, Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Gasly, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Joe, Tsunoda, Sargent, Fittipaldi, and Nick de Vries. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
All right, looking at the race strategy here, obviously just going to be on the soft tires for 8 laps. Actually, the mediums. I'm tempted about the mediums. If that's really going to be... I know our tire wear isn't great, and the car has felt the best on mediums. I think I'm going to go with the mediums. If they're only that much slower, I'm hoping to gain on everybody later in the run and not have to do so much defending. Setup wise, I think I'm going to do a lot with the setup, but race strategy, I'm let me think about it for a few, and let me see. Alrighty, here. So here's the setup I'm going to use. Go ahead and take pause. This is the setup I'm going to use for the sprint race and the normal race. So pause it. Only going to show it once here. But I think I'm going to go with the medium. Try to get on an alternate strategy. See if our tire wear is good at the end of the race and see what it is. Obviously, we don't have all the tire upgrades. So maybe not what we want. But going to go with the medium tires. Hopefully not get too bad of a start. I'm interested to see what everybody else is on. I don't know if I could check it. Well, actually, I can. I can kind of throw it. So both Mercedes going to be on mediums. They're usually really good on long run. Maybe I could try to jump both of them. Nah, I'm going to go softs. It's not worth it. I'm going to do the softs just to have at the start of the race. So, all right, let's start the sprint race and have some fun.
Okay, how was that pull away? You'll have a bit more grip than that on the start, but we need to warm the tyres properly now. Make sure you get some heat into the brakes as well.
Pulling up to the grid now. Ready for the sprint race. 8 laps here in Austria. We're on the soft compounded tire.
Let's make sure we get the edge on the
The
surrounding
rest of the
drivers
field
as the lights
is
go out.
lining up behind us.
Keep an eye on the lights. The start sequence will begin as soon as the grid is formed. Be ready with the clutch.
Pretty good into the box we had. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Red lights are out. We're green for the sprint race in Austria. Good start for us. Don't spin the tires too much. Leclerc gets a bad second part of the start. We get a little bit of contact there with Stroll, but able to shoot through the middle, and we move up into the 6th position. Down the straightaway. We see here already have an issue with the motor. I think I checked that down the back straightaway, but a dive to the inside of Russell, trying to get as many spots as we can in the first part of this lap. Good move by us, able to get to the inside of Russell heading into turn number 3. Not going to be able to though. You see the ICE at 67%, not what we need to have happen there. That's going to hurt us in the sprint race a ton, but the softs not up to the right temperature. They're feeling very slick and slidey. Verstappen to our inside into turn number 5 through 6. We just run wide. Stroll's able to get a run on us, trying to defend all we can, but the motor damage is definitely slowing us down on the straightaway, and it's not feeling great. Trying to hold off Stroll the best that we can. He's still to our inside, gonna hold him off around the outside line, and after a wild first lap, we stay in P7. Next time around, still looking at that damage and seeing how bad it's going to be at 68. So, considering changing it before the main race.
This lap. You can use it when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
DRS enabled as we get a big wiggle on the exit of turn 1. Once again, through turn 1, get a better exit that time. Overtake and all. And Albon right on our back bumper. He's going to have DRS all over us with a big run. You're going to defend it, go to the inside line, force him to the outside line. We got Norris right behind us as well. Easy on the power. We have DRS as we let Albon have a nose. Now we're ahead with DRS. He's going to get a little bit of a run here. We're going to force him around the outside line and be able to defend that spot down the hill and for another lap. Gonna have to defend once again. Lap number 4 coming to 5. A big slideways moment there. Albon's gonna go to our inside. Norris goes around the outside of us. Big slide. The soft tires don't feel good at all around here. We're trying to stay with Norris. We're gonna have DRS on Albon. Can we stick with him? Doesn't look like it. We're gonna gain a little bit of time. Norris comes. Here comes Stroll as well. We're gonna almost go 3 wide into the corner. Norris is going to go around us to the inside line. We're going to fight it back around the outside. Can we get Albon? Get back to him before the end of the straightaway. 7/10 doesn't look like it. But after the straightaway, far off of Stroll and Norris, and trying to stick with Albon, just not got the raw speed. As you see, the soft tires just not got the grip for us. So in the feature, going to put on the mediums to start. The soft tires just aren't feeling good after the first 2 laps, no matter what we do. Norris with a big dive to the inside line. Still trying to fight that. Keep him defending us. 8th place in the sprint race gives us 1 point. That's another point that we can use. Fighting for that last spot for it. So he's trying to be aggressive, get all the points he can. Wide exit through the final corner. Coming to 2 to go. Overtake. Force Norris around the outside line. Into the corner, trying to stick with it. We do run him a little wide, trying to hold him off. Down the straightaway, we lift and make sure that we can get the DRS. Alonso goes by, and that allows us to get DRS on him. So we're going to DRS it, opens. We're going to look for a hole. Is it there? Going to go to his outside line. Around the outside of Alonso, our rival. Can we defend it? Around the outside, going to slow him down just a little bit, and we do. Stick with it around the outside line, but he's going to fight still on the outside. 5th gear, get it rotated, and we're able to make that pass back once again. So after that little bit of contact made from Alonso, he's trying to do as much as he can. He knows that he's our rival. With 1 lap to go, he's trying to make up all the ground he can. Here he comes with another big run. Final lap. He's going to get around us. We get the DRS, though. Got to stick with him. Not a great exit, but we're going to use all the overtake to try to get back to him. 5 tenths, 4.5, 4, 3.5, 3. Do we go to the inside? No, going to think better of it. Can we have a dive into turn 3? DRS, nice power. 4 tenths, 4.5, 3.5. Looking for the inside line. Brake hard. Late on the brakes. We dive to the inside and get around Alonso. Now, can we defend him?
Nice move. Keep going.
How much more can we go for half a lap? Trying to defend Alonso.
Okay, here's the gap that we're trailing the car ahead by. 2.
Through the corner where we struggle on the power. He's going to have a run on us. He's going to look to the inside. Going to force him around the outside line. Around the outside, not going to be able to do it. He will have DRS, but it won't be a long enough straightaway for him to use it. And we come home P8 in the sprint race.
All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
So let's have a quick look at how the drivers' standings have changed.
Well, not the result our points leader would have wanted, but it certainly makes things interesting going forward.
Well, that wraps up sprint. All that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
Oh, post-sprint race. Defended for my life there against Fernando. Lando actually dropped back a few spots there, but we defended hard on Alonso being our rival. Knew I had to do that, but the car had no rear downforce and definitely struggled with, as you guys can saw, the motor definitely didn't like what it was experiencing. So, yeah, not good. Started 7th, dropped back to 8th, only lost a spot, but we were up to 6 at one point. Good run for Alexander Albon in the Williams. Good result for them, but man, just struggling with the rear grip. A lot of loss on the rear grip, but the top 6, they are gone by miles. So that's something to look at and hopefully be able to get close in the future. But end up P8 with 1 point, not too shabby after the sprint race. Alrighty, so we're looking at this 71% on the ICE. We're changing that. No penalties to be put towards us, so I'm 100% fine with that. Definitely don't need that to be a penalty, as we're already pretty much far up the grid. Sergio gets by us there in the points after the sprint race, after he wins the sprint race. But Arrow definitely going to be looking at rear downforce here from the beam wing. I'm going to go ahead and do that as soon as possible. Soon that and more tire wear, because yeah, more tire wear, 100% going to do more tire wear. That's something that we need to look at deeply about The tire wear, we're good on the turbo, so I don't really think about upgrading that right now. But rear downforce and tire wear is what we need, no doubt here. Especially heading into Spa, Belgium, which is a pretty high-ish, more downforce track, or a low downforce track, but rear stability is big. So definitely a good test here at Austria. But into the race, 25 laps. Let's see what we can do.
Welcome to the beautiful Styrian Mountains for another chapter in the story of this famous race. It's time for the Austrian Grand Prix. Seven rights and just 3 left-handers make up the 10 corners of this high-speed circuit. Turn 2 is flat out, a left-hand kink into the uphill braking zone of turn 3. Turns 1, 3 and 4 are all potential opportunities to overtake. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. It's Sergio Perez on pole today, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Sainz, Russell, Verstappen, Albon, Maverick, Fernando Alonso, Bottas, Stroll, Norris, Oscar Piastri, Gasly, Ocon, Magnussen, Hulkenberg, Joe, De Vries, Fittipaldi, Sargent, and Yuki Tsunoda. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. And Anthony Davidson joins us for this one. And great to have your company. There's no weather to worry about here. What will be going through the drivers' minds as they finish these last-minute preparations?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the run down into turn 1. A bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
Coming to the grid here. Keeping the rear tires warm on the medium set of tires. Hoping that these fire off a lot better than what the softs did after 8 laps on the sprint race. The softs were terrible, so I'm not even going to think about softs here. I'm going to go from mediums to hard and hope that we can get a good start here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Lights are out and we're underway for the Austrian Grand Prix. Get around Albon. He doesn't have a great start. Going to look to the outside of Verstappen, outside of Russell. Good start there as they all check up on the exit of turn number 1. Russell's going to have a good run on Hamilton. He's going to get by him. Here we go up the hill. Verstappen right behind us. Use an overtake as much as we can to the inside to defend it to the inside of Hamilton. Misjudged the braking, but ended up working out. We had a dive to his inside down the back straightaway for the first time. We're up to 5th place after the first 2 corners. Right on the back bumper of Russell, trying to stick with him. On to lap 3, DRS is enabled. We're just inside that range. He's on the harder tires, so should be able to get him here in a few laps. With us being on the softer compound, down the or up the hill, trying to use that DRS to our advantage. Hard on the brakes through turn 2. Down to 2nd gear, easy on the throttle. Try to keep these tires underneath us till late lap 13. DRS still doesn't look like we're going to be able to catch him. Start finish line that time. Now Verstappen's quicker than us. He's going to go by us. We're going to just let him go. Know that he's faster. Then he gets on the curb, doesn't have a great exit. We have DRS, so does he, but we're not even using overtake and we're just riding right with him. So ended up diving it into the corner here, trying to get around him. And we will stay ahead of Verstappen, trying to chase down Perez still, but losing the time battling with Verstappen. Up the hill once again, just within a second of Perez, trying to stay inside of DRS range to have him pull us ahead of the mid-pack. Also stay ahead of Verstappen, but we're using overtake, trying to stick with Perez as we go purple in sector number 1. But trying to stick with it. See a little bit of a slide there, not going to help us, but trying to use that DRS to stay ahead of Verstappen, stay with Perez. but he's just fast enough. That car is insanely quick to where through this middle sector he's able to stay in front of us, and down the straightaways we're just too far behind to have a dive with DRS. You can see how much he gains through that middle sector there as Verstappen does the same thing. That car is insanely good. Now we're just going to let Verstappen go by. Finally, once again, no overtake. Let him go by early on the brakes. And all good there. And he locks up. We go by him. Verstappen with an issue. 1 second back, 1.2 seconds. Big issue for Verstappen. We go by him just inside DRS range at the end of the straightaway. Had to use a lot of overtake there to get into the DRX's detection zone, but a wild turn one there. We're gonna let Verstappen go, and I guess those media or the soft compound that he's on is starting to wear for him. He ended up locking up the brake or had an issue, but a major issue for Verstappen. Now he's gonna have to defend Hamilton as we move on to lap number 9. Still too far back from Perez. Use a lot of the runoff room. Is gonna get loose if I try to keep it on the track, so got better of it than trying to do that, but just within 7 tenths. That's kind of our hole right there. We're not gonna gain much, but we're not staying. He's not gaining on us, so looks like here the hard compound is starting to be better than the mediums, but we've been able to stick with him. So he's starting to pull away just a little bit as our tires start to wear, and those hards aren't, but we're doing a great job sticking with them so far. Through this middle sector once again, down to 5th gear. You see 1.1, 1.1, 1.5. Just not able to stick with him, especially during this middle sector, and him being in the fastest car, it seems like, or fastest on the R&D chart. He's able to stick ahead of us now as we come off of the final corner and move to lap number 10. Nothing much going on in our race, so we go to the front of the pack with the Ferraris. Carlos with a huge run with DRS. He's going to go to the inside of Leclerc, get the inside line. Looks like he's going to have it. No, Leclerc's going to fight back around the outside line. That's going to open up the door for Russell just behind them. This is happening just in front of us on the front nose of Sainz. He's going to have a dive into turn 3. Looks like he's going to get it. Leclerc's going to fight around the outside line. Does he hold it? He will, as that opens up the door for Russell to close in on both of the Ferraris, as Ferrari leading the constructors. Race in, race out. Here we go. Next lap, lap 11. Sainz going to have another dive on Leclerc. DRS once again. Where does he make his move? To the outside line. Here comes Russell. Behind them as well. Sainz to the outside. He will clear and move into the top spot. I don't know if Leclerc's going to be able to fight back. Doesn't look like it. Looks like he's going to be pretty far back, but Sainz moves into position number 1.
We're approaching the pit window now, and you're going to be on hards next time.
Talking about pit, and you can see the wear on the rear tires, 35, 37, so a ton of wear on the rears. We're pitting here on lap 13, so a good day, or good thing for us. As everybody else is pitted, we are leading the Austrian Grand Prix as we stay out that lap, so we can say that we led a lap here on F1 23, and in our career we've led a lap. So into the pits we go. Need some fresher tires. We're up to 40 on that right rear, and I definitely am feeling it on the exit of the slower corners. Turn 1, turn 2, it really doesn't like it. Turn 3, I have to be really careful on the exit of, but into the box we go. Optimal pit time. Good stop from the boys. Can maybe get closer to Perez and try to get around him, and we don't. Left rear issue. Not what we wanted to have happen. Hamilton goes by. Verstappen goes by. Looks like Shogun Yu's going to go by, so Hamilton, Verstappen, they both go by us, and Perez isn't even close to us anymore. So on the back foot, gotta catch Shogun Yu. We have DRS, so with the exit of the corner. Doesn't look like it's going to be too hard of a pass. We're going to have DRS use a little bit of overtake. He's going to defend the inside line. Going to go even lower, give him a little bit of a love tap. Show him, nope, I'm going to take this position. And we do move in to the 7th spot on lap 14 after the pit cycle. So you see here, and we saw before the race about weather.
Okay, expect to see some rain about 10 to 15 minutes from now. Dries definitely seem like the
Asked
fastest
about
time at the
weather,
moment.
but
Okay,
it's going
so
to
the
come
gap to the car
post-race no
ahead,
matter what, so no
3.5
worries there.
seconds.
As we ride on board with Leclerc, trying to overtake Carlos down the front straightaway with DRS. Does he have enough? You can see the gaps on the leaderboard as well. We're 4 seconds behind Hamilton. Albon gaining on us a little, but Leclerc with a big opportunity here. Up the hill with DRS. Where does he go? To the outside line. Carlos defends to the inside. Leclerc backs out of it as Carlos, a little bit of check up there in the center as Leclerc has an issue. Leclerc with an issue on the exit of turn 2 on lap 17. He's going to retire after battling his teammate for the win. That's unfortunate, as we're going to go by him, and that's going to move us into the 6th position.
Someone's come off ahead of you. There's a yellow flag ahead.
Pretty boring race, but that's been the most exciting thing, as you can see here. Pretty bored. Up and down, side to side, like a roller coaster. Smooth operator. Smooth operator. So mid-race was going for a jam session, but on these hard tires, you can see the wear is actually really good. MGUH was starting to wear a little bit there. Ended up pretty high, but with 2 laps to go, not too worried about it. We're 3 seconds ahead of Alonso. Hard tires really came into our favor, but off of the final corner for the final time, tires ended up at not too bad on the hards, but we come home P6 in the Austrian Grand Prix.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
That's a fantastic performance from Ferrari. It hardly looked in doubt. Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today. What set them apart from the rest?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again. So let's review the drivers' standings.
Carlos Sainz extends his lead at the top, getting ever closer to securing the championship.
So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Often my go-to would be a driver who's managed to pull off an especially impressive feat during the race. However, in this instance, I was more impressed by Max Verstappen's solid, clean driving throughout the event.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Ferrari continue to extend the gap at the top of the table. Meanwhile, a strong weekend from Red Bull this time out, and they improved their position in the championship. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.
So, post-Austria, what a pretty boring race through that middle sector. We had a bad pit stop, and it just kind of got spread out from there. Not much that happened, but a solid P6, P6 finish in the race after Leclerc had an issue. After leading the race, it looked like he was going to end up winning, and then had a DNF, so not a good race for him. He's going to lose a ton of points on the standings from Carlos, who ended up winning and getting the fastest lap. So 32 points back. That's unfortunate. He's close with Sergio now, as Sergio jumped from behind us to behind Leclerc in third. So he jumped 4 spots to be able to get to where he is. So that is pretty big. We're ahead of Verstappen, still ahead of Fernando, but all in all, a good race for us. And we're going to jump back into the headquarters, and we'll see you guys back then. So our engine upgrades came in, so that works perfect for us. They come in today. Now we're gonna do some upgrading. So chassis wise, we can do a few, but I'm actually gonna go ahead and first upgrade. We cannot do that. We cannot do this. Resource generation will be increased by 275. I'm not even sure what that does, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait to upgrade the fabrication on aerodynamics, as we don't need that's the last one to get double of those, but we're going to go ahead and advance a little bit here, at least to the 14th. That's what we're going to do.
Okay, we've had the new parts come through the fabrication process. We'll have them with us for the next Grand Prix.
Alright, let's see. Take the advice. No, we're not going to.
Thanks.
Yeah. Let's not
I know these
subtract the morale.
can be challenging, but I think you made the right call.
Not mess up the morale for right now. Tire brake plankets and secondary wings. Perfect. So that's where we stand here. We're only going to have one more left to come in, but we're ahead of Williams, McLaren, right with them now. So roll dampers upgrading now. Those are going on, and cables as well can go on, or what we could go ahead and do is upgrade rotor speed. That's not even a major upgrade. That's just expensive. Expensive. Or do some rear downforce, as that was not great from the feel wise. Rear downforce is not what we had at all there. Gonna go ahead and do that. Can we do anything else? We can't do the intercooler, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the intercooler, help us get a little bit more horsepower in it. But it looks like everything's starting to get more expensive, so which is 100% fine with me. We're trying to climb through the ranks, get that R&D up. Progress wise, doing pretty good. You see the spike right there between the race, so as we get closer and closer it should show more. But ahead of Williams, McLaren jumped, Aston, everybody seemed to get better there. We're gonna change the MGU-H out and move to our third one of the season, because those started to wear. It started to get hot there at the end. I think our main issue in the sprint race, why it looked so slow, was, and why we struggled, was because of the motor starting to wear. So that's something that we were having problems with. But let's go ahead and skip through after we did our upgrades. Weekly resources 1 million, running cost. Alrighty.
Our new parts have completed without issue. They'll be on the car ready for the next race weekend.
All right, sweet. So we got a 4.3 million now. Gonna go ahead and do an upgrade there, and I believe we can go ahead and do one more around here. Implied positive effects or personnel. I don't really see a point in this first season to do any upgrades on our drivers, so I think we're gonna save our cash now. Thankful we got that upgraded. Got everything upgraded through it. Let's go ahead and do... I don't really see a point in upgrading durability yet in this season, so I'm just going to save her the money for now. I don't think there's a point in it, so going to leave that and skip to Belgium, where we have the F8 and Mercedes, which I think we're going to be doing the Mercedes. I have fun with those rival challenges, so if you guys did enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe. Pretty good race in Austria. not too bad on the points wise, but we're gonna come home and do some R&D like we are now. We got a ton of major upgrades and ton of, well, maybe not major, but just enough upgrades to come in, help us even more on the performances. Williams has taken over us now, as well as Alpine, so we're not even behind McLaren anymore. Aston has jumped over Mercedes. Red Bull's still with the fastest car, but nowhere near the top of the leaderboard on the standings. So we will see if Red Bull has anything Ferrari, if we can stay ahead of Verstappen and Alonso. But until next time, I'll see you guys then.